I saw, like, obviously right now a new character has come back to Strive. Everybody's like, oh, Biken's back? Hell yeah, let's get hyped about Biken. And obviously the immediate following discussion is, oh my god, she's not like old Biken. This game is simple and gross and nasty. I hate this game. This game is bad. It always creates that sort of like cyclical discussion around the game and stuff. Alongside of Biken being revealed, I saw like almost simultaneously someone saying, man, I actually kind of hope that rollback doesn't hit Exerd. And one of the larger reasons that the person was saying this was like, all these like people are going to play it and they're going to realize like this game is not this perfect thing. And we're going to have all these people who are like more aware of the public discussion around the game, and also like it's gonna change it. You know, like, or plus R, a lot of people who are old are like, yeah, plus R is the shit. It's the greatest video game ever. And then like when plus R gets rollback and everybody plays it, we're like, what the fuck? What is this janky shit? And they're like, well, you know, yeah, it's cool. Trust me, it's cool. You just got to accept that this janky shit is like this. And then everybody's just like, wait, you said this is the greatest video game of all time. Why has it got all this nasty janky shit that I just have to accept? And they're like, well, the thing is that is part of the charm of the video game, right? Like, and in the same way that it, you know, people act like Exerd is the greatest gift, full of passion and just beautiful design. It's like the most visionary view of what Guilty Gear could be. And then like you just play it and you're like, oh, I mean, this game's sick. Like, I like this game. It's fun. But, like, nasty shit happens in this game, too, right? Like, all games. So, I kind of get where that's coming from, that the discussion around the game will change when people actually play it. Because a lot of people didn't actually play it. You know, like, people finally played Plus R when it got rollback. And then, obviously, there's people who are like, ew, Testament players, ew, Zappa players, ew, this nasty shit, ew, you're doing this. Like, there's people who say things about the game now that they wouldn't have said before because they didn't know any better. They would just been like, oh, plus R, you mean the good Guilty Gear? And some people did play it and they don't like the new game, and that's also fine. But that's the important thing to take away, is not anything about the new game besides that they don't like it. You may recall that there was a discussion where a lot of people were saying, I hate these influencers who are stirring up negativity about Elfelt. Like, my friend is trying to pick up the game. All of the people that they're playing with are like saying, ew, you play Elfelt. Anybody wants to play them. There's a really negative connotation with just picking a character you think is fun. So they just want to play the game and have fun. And you will not let them. You're just attacking their character and being like, fuck you for playing this character, etc., right? You know, I get where they're coming from to that extent, right? That can be the case. But then that person turns around and is like, also, Strive is a piece of shit, dog shit. That game fucking sucks. You guys play Strive, the bad Guilty Gear? Oh, man. Like, I see a lot of people, and there are people who I think seem like reasonable humans and stuff, who really love Guilty Gear. Really trying to champion a game series that they love, right? But at the same time, turning around and being like super okay with just taking a big dump on other people's happiness and not liking it when it goes back and forth. Like, if you say anything bad about their game, they're like, how dare you? And I saw, this is a Dane tweet, really made me think about it, because it references this exact thing where he says Exerd players were all kinds of grumpy about XX players talking shit on their game. I've seen this for every game. When a new NRS game comes out, the new Street Fighter game comes out, the new Marvel game comes out, Street Fighter Cross Tekken comes out, new Guilty Gear comes out, new KOF comes out. Every time a new game comes out, this shit always happens. And the same, play GG, which means don't play anything, just play Exerd. We like Exerd. When I say play GG, I just mean play Exerd, because Plus R, it's kind of good, and Strive is a dog shit baby game. But when I say play Guilty Gear, what I really mean is Exerd, because Exerd is the good one. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They comfortably do it for other things that they don't play because they don't care. They like, it doesn't affect me, right? I get it. That's just how it goes. And to follow up, maybe the people that lie about why their Guilty Gear is the realest Guilty Gear should just like play that Guilty Gear they like and shut the fuck up. You know, like, people have like blank, blank, blank challenge impossible. It's like, say that you just don't like Guilty Gear Strive without being weird and making shit up about it. Challenge impossible. Like, if you don't like Strive, you don't need to tell me some made up nonsensical breakdowns of why they dislike the game that are just completely ridiculous, when you could just be like, yeah, it's not for me. Wait, is it this tweet that had the reply to it that was beast? Twitter is the only way Exerd players can play online. That's toxic. Exerd it's in the same category as like Third Strike and like another game I had in mind. They're like the most popular games to say you like or think is cool without actually playing them or knowing anything about it. Not to say that there's anything wrong with liking a game you don't play. That's a lot of us. I think everybody in here who plays fighting games randomly watches some old ass game and is like, dude, this game's kind of sick. But so many fucking people don't even play these games and is like, this game is actually real sick, unlike these new games. Like, they use a game that they've never played and they have no experience with and they don't care about as a weapon. They're wielding this shit and coming at people who like some other game even though they don't even fucking play it. Strive is a big game. It's like popular, but this happens with every single game. A lot of these people were there. They should remember what it was like when the game that they love came out and everybody just talked shit about it. You know what it was like. So to do that to other people, to perpetuate it, is so strange to me. I think a lot of people think of me as like the Street Fighter guy, which is so weird because when I started playing fighting games, I was not the Street Fighter guy. And everybody talks shit about all the games I played because all the Street Fighter players were like, oh, you play not Street Fighter, so you're bad at fighting games. That is like how people felt. They're like, oh, you don't play Street Fighter, so you suck. I knew somebody who went 0-2 at a local and then said that if they played Killer Instinct for a week, they would make top 8 at EVO. Just imagine the extreme disconnect of reality you must have, right? To like think like that. What's fucked up is by the end of Street Fighter 4, I was like playing the game and I really liked Street Fighter 4. I thought Ultra was really fun. And I remember the amount of people who shit on Street Fighter 4 relentlessly. And I was like, guys, I think Street Fighter 4 is actually really quite fun. And then Street Fighter 5 came out, and I was like, oh, I think this game is pretty fun too. And they were all like, no, Street Fighter 4 is way better. And I was like, you guys all told me that game was the worst piece of shit to ever compile. Like, it's the worst software of all time, like 6 months ago. And they're like, yeah, well, Street Fighter 5 sucks. I'm like, okay. I've been through it. It's why I don't do it to other people. For me, I don't engage with that kind of stuff in any way, shape, or form because my perspective on it is like, I play the things that I like and I think are fun. And I make content and videos and analysis and discuss the things that I like and I think are fun. And I make that kind of stuff for people who also enjoy and engage with those things. There are games I dislike. There are fighting games that I think are bad. I think are just not fucking good. I'm like, how could people have fun playing this game? But notice I don't ever boot up the stream and say, you know what fucking fighting game sucks and everybody who plays it should feel ashamed of themselves for playing this shitty ass baby game. This thing. You know what happens when those games come up? I say, oh, you like that game? That game seems really fun. Like, I saw a lot of people have been playing it lately. Like, that's cool. It got a new tournament. That seems really fun. Like, a lot of people signed up. It had record-breaking entrance at this tournament. Like, hell yeah, that's really sick. I don't like the game, but that doesn't mean anything about the game itself. Like, it could be a perfectly lovely game. It could be incredibly cool. Like, to you, it could be the best fighting game you've ever played. You could just genuinely enjoy it that much. And for me, the fact that I don't like it doesn't matter. It's not that I'm Switzerland, actually, or even that I'm neutral. It's like the opposite of that. If you've ever watched my stream when I talk about Strive, boy, do I have a lot of negative things to say about lots of different things about the game. And same thing with Street Fighter 5, which is why I no longer have a fucking job. I like those video games. That's why I'm willing to discuss the bad things about them and be like, yeah, this shit should get fixed. This is whack. If you're trying to wield it as a way to beat down a game or scene or community to raise up yours, I think that shit is such trash energy. And that's when I'm tempted to come at people. I look at tweets sometimes, I just see it, and it's like some account with like 300 followers, and it's like excerpt, insert blank here, main, or whatever, and like they're just making some tweet that's like, this is a baby game, and blah, blah, and I'm just like looking at this account like, I could just hit quote tweet here and just ruin their mentions for who knows how long. And then I'm like, why? You know, there's no reason for me to be such an asshole. Like, I should just let them go off. And then instead make analytical, fun, interesting content about the things I like that will reach far more people than this tweet will anyway. And so it doesn't matter. And then I just go back to living my day. I just can't, it's not in me. And it's not because I don't have things that I don't like or whatever. There's lots of things I don't like. Part of why I like fighting games is that we all can gather in the same place and I can watch your game and be like, you know, I don't really love your game, but that was pretty cool. And then you can be like, yeah, your game kind of sucks dick, but that was a good block. I got to admit that I wouldn't have blocked that. You know what I mean? Like, there's a mutual appreciation where at worst, I think your game is whack and I use it as a time to eat dinner, but I could watch a clip from it and be like, that was pretty cool. This is the energy you need more often. You know that? Hell yeah. Listen. I need to know the list of games I think are stinky so I can base my personality around it. Now you're thinking with influencers. You're starting to come up with the proper stuff. That's my favorite thing. Remember when people were making fighting game tier lists and they're like, I don't make the rules, my list is just right. And it's just like their opinion of what games they think are cool. All that does is get people to be like, your game is actually shit. How is it in A tier? Like, you know what I mean? I think that had to be the worst trend ever. How did y'all just let that happen? It's like ESE, like everybody just relentlessly shilled, essentially with no problems. Everybody was just like, that looks good. You just need the right person to come along and they can chill anything. They're just like, I love limousines.